Joining me right now, I'm very happy to introduce to you Mayor Michael Wilds of Englewood. He's a lawyer. Well, nobody's perfect. A former federal prosecutor, practicing lawyer, really the man on the spot. What the heck with Gaddafi coming to your city? Mr. Mayor, welcome to the show.
My pleasure. Good afternoon. I have to tell you, it's a surreal experience. I'm actually an immigration lawyer by trade and a former federal prosecutor where I had the privilege of removing people, and now I help people come to our shores. My dad represented John Lennon in the 70s when they were trying to deport him, and we know at our core that the State Department, our president, could actually stop the visa from being issued. If they stopped the visa from being issued or rescinded if they did, then we don't have to have a terrorist, a financier, or the progenitor of terrorism on U.S. soil. They, for the last 3 decades, have a property in our city that they have laid dormant and have not put a nickel into and have not paid any property taxes.
They is who? They, the Libyan government?
Now, in the days following a hero's welcome that they gave a convicted terrorist who forensically was proven to have placed the bomb on the plane, the son today, Gaddafi's son, said, well, that's history. Why are they so troubled by it? This American, this Jewish American, is embarrassed that we would allow him on U.S. soil. I don't want him sleeping in my city.
Well, I can't imagine why you would. I think your protest is very well taken. Have you communicated with the State Department? Has Foggy Bottoms said anything to you about limiting this guy's access outside of Manhattan Island?
The congressman for the district is a former mayor. They are in communication with the State Department. They very well know how we feel about this, but we're now about to go to battle here. We're doing a sword and a shield. If the sword doesn't work with the State Department, then we're going to shield ourselves actually by getting a injunctions to stop the work that's being done. They are encroaching on streams. They've removed a distinguished rabbi's trees and fence on his own property. They should not have the right to be here. Simply put, the admonition that if you build it, they will come works in reverse. If they have nothing to build, then they have nothing to come to. And I don't want him in our city. There are 38 souls that were killed on Pan Am 103 from the Garden State. We will be standing in solidarity at the site on Sunday at 11 o'clock with our governor, with our senators, with our congressmen, because this is the righteous thing to do.
Well, you're absolutely right with this. I'm astonished that the folks at the State Department have not been more responsive. I'm not astonished, actually, given the fact of the people who are running it right now. I mean, it seems to me this is so surreal. You're right. You could almost have some Scottish Libyan Make-A-Wish Foundation. He could be bringing McGrahi with him.
We're going to have Scottish bagpipe players in kilts. You have no idea how this strikes a chord. The State Department can make its overtures to Libya, to Syria, to Iran, but we know very well, if you look at Osama bin Laden and the friendship we enjoyed with him during the days of the Mujahideen, that these relationships can bear poor results in the generation to come. But in the meantime, this is a surreal experience. It's as if we're taking an intermission on the war on terrorism and everybody goes out and gets their popcorn and soda and let the man build a Bedouin tent. He wants to build a friggin' tent, and then have my taxpayers pay for the removal of his rubbish?
Oh, wait.
It's insulting.
Yeah, it is insulting, and it seems to me the people of Englewood have every right to protest this. I mean, what are your senators saying? I mean,
the senators are begging the State Department to shut this down. The congressman is working strenuously as well.
Who is the congressman you've got there?
His name is Steve Rothman, and he's from the 9th Congressional District. And I'm telling you right now, everybody here is on issue. Everybody's on point. The State Department could give a restrictive visa, allowing him only to the confines of a UN compound in Manhattan.
Yes.
Now, we don't want to not allow a person to speak, but you want to know something? The $2.7 billion that he gave to the family members of the Pan Am 103 bombing will not bring them back. His presence on U.S. soil is offensive. If he has to speak, he can speak remotely or personally, and then get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people. I'm a recovered lawyer, Mr. Mayor, but I will tell you that to me, the First Amendment doesn't extend to terrorists. They should be in jail or in the ground.
Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire. It's a hallmark case in the fighting words doctrine. I believe fundamentally in the right to speak, even if you disagree with somebody. But I don't give a damn if Hitler played the harmonica. I do not want a man who can veil himself, and all he has right now to veil himself is oil and geopolitical interests. But we should not be bartering our souls for a barrel of oil.
Have you made a personal appeal to President Obama or to Secretary Clinton? I mean, it seems to me those people should be on the spot. They are the ones who could do something.
I hold them in personal esteem. I'm a Democrat. I have a very close relationship with Hillary Clinton and the former president. I have the highest regard for our president, and I believe that personal requests in the wake of all the attention that this is going would just make people believe it's fodder for media.
Well, but wait a minute, Mr. Mayor. I mean, these people are responsible. If the president ordered it, they could limit this guy's visa to New York, or they could just cancel it all. I mean, doesn't he have any responsibility for this?
Absolutely, and ultimately the buck stops with him, and it's been communicated through our senators and the delegation that we have from New Jersey that this is what we'd like. And we're hoping that the president will see to it that this happens, or through other machinations, this trip will disappear. But understand this, we also have to be practical. If the inevitability of this trip actually is happening, I don't want it in New Jersey, and I only want it confined to the UN.
Well, I think you're absolutely right with this, Mr. Mayor. We're talking to Mayor Michael Wilds of Englewood, New Jersey, who is about to receive an unwelcome guest in the form of Muammar Gaddafi. Mr. Mayor, if people want to join your vigil on Sunday night, if they want to support you, how do they get in contact? Is there a website, a phone number? Tell us where we can get a hold.
Thank you for the suggestion. If you go to my website, which is michaelwilds.com, that's WILDES.com, you can get the information. We're going to be meeting at 11 o'clock at the site on East Palisade Avenue in Englewood. I urge you to write your senators, write your congressmen, to reach out to the president, to do whatever you can. We will be joined by Americans of all faiths, of all colors, of all ethnicities. We do not want financiers of terrorism on U.S. soil. I do not want them building a tent so that they could culturally exchange their venom with other people. This must not happen. And if it does happen, it has to be guarded, because we are going to be spending upwards of $20,000 per day in overtime footed by the local taxpayers. And this is just insulting.
Mr. Mayor, we really appreciate your taking the time. Mayor Michael Wilds of Englewood, New Jersey, with a real beef against Gaddafi. Thank you for coming aboard, Mr. Mayor. Jed Babin for Fred.